And welcome to race 2 of our Spec Miata doubleheader at the Autobahn Country Club. Matt Lauterbach in here, joined by a very special guest, Jordan Mystic. Jordan, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good, Matt. Thank you for having me on board as we're getting ready for another Spec Miata race here at the beautiful Autobahn Country Club. It's going to be race 13, I think, of the season, so looking forward to this one.
Yes, definitely indeed. Our second race today, sponsored by Lindblad Construction and First Credit Card Banking Group. Bright and sunny afternoon here in the city of Joliet. Our first race this morning was run by Taro Kishida in the Spec Miata race. Finishing second was John Jodoin and Billy Benning. And our SM2 class was won by Brandon Schwartz. Finishing second in that group was Mitch Graybeal. And third was Jake Malter. So, Jordan, you were helping out with Mitch Graybeal earlier in the race. And the first race, how'd that go for you?
Mitch was doing a very fantastic job, I'd say, throughout the course of the first race. Was able to kind of stick with Brandon Schwartz at the beginning of the race, but then, a little bit of lap traffic kind of hindered him a little bit, but, talked with him a little bit. He needs to kind of be able to just see the lap traffic playing out a little bit more, and he'll be able to get some more spots after that.
All right, well, we'll be right back then in just a second here. We're going to take you along for a lap around the Autobahn Country Club with our chief driving instructor, Brett Casey Jr.
Welcome to Autobahn Country Club's 2.1 mile south track. On the left here is the bright red starter stand. That's where the starter will wave the green flag. Here's turn one. You'll see cars going 2-3 wide. It's a third gear right-hander here. You'll see cars maintaining 2 wide all the way through until turn 3. Turn 3 is where things start to really funnel down. Cars start going downhill here. Really difficult to be 2 wide and staying full throttle at the apex. Now we get up to turn 4 after this beautiful run through the trees. It's an uphill, long left-hander, 4th gear. That's the apex there. You want to make sure you're back to power at that time. Uphill, turn 5. Really bumpy, fast left-hander, 4th gear. Now we're approaching turn 6. Hard brakes here. Watch down the inside. There may be a car trying to pass you. Really important to get a good exit here because it's going through a fast straightaway. Turn 7. No lift. Going to be easy flat for all these cars. Now we're approaching my favorite brake zone. Turn 8. Lots of grip, lots of room. Easy to make a move down the inside. Roll the speed through the corner. Now we approach the 2 slowest corners on the track, turn 9 and 10. Minimum speed through 9 is going to be about 35 miles an hour. Turn 10 is full throttle all the way through. Now we're leading onto the long 1,850-foot back straightaway. This is the first real opportunity that drivers have to kind of take a break as they're driving down 6 football fields into turn 11. Looking for a really deep break point here. It's an awesome opportunity for a pass as well. You'll see the nose drop. There it is. Hard brakes, 3rd gear, turn in. A lot of guys use this apex curve more than any other on the lap. And now we're approaching the final 2 corners of the lap, 13 and 14. First apex, second apex, coming to start finish. And that's a lap around the 2.1 mile circuit of Autobahn South.
Right, so we're going to present to you our starting grid for the SM class race, our top 5 for Spec Miata. Taro Kishida, the winner of the first race, followed by Connor Willis, Billy Benning, Mike Bernardi, and Greg Sorg. That'll be the top 5 starters for the Spec Miata race. And next up will be our SM2 top 5 starting. Brandon Schwartz, the winner in race 1, followed by Mitch Graybeal, Jake Malter, Matteo Azeri, and Mark Stadolski. So Jordan, should be an exciting second race here today. We saw a lot of action in the first race, a lot of jockeying for position among 34 cars. What do you think we can see in this race?
I think we're going to be seeing almost the exact same thing as we saw in race 1, but we're also going to want to keep our eyes a little bit further back and around the 15th or 16th position as we had Ethan Tyler and Matt Alexander. Both had to retire early in race 1, both looking to come back as well in this race to make some spots back up and be up towards the front towards the end of this race.
Yeah, Matt Alexander, that 157, won the pole in the first race, but had transmission issues on the opening lap and had to finish dead last. Unfortunate for Matt Alexander, but fortunate for Taro Kishida, the guy who ended up winning the race after starting in 4th. So we're going to see our Spec Miata class go double file right now. Towards the background, you'll see our SM2 drivers right there in the picture. But now our Spec Miata race is going to be starting up 18 laps around the South Circuit at the Autobahn Country Club. Starter going to be waving the green flag in the air. Green flag is waving, and we are green. And a bit of contact on the opening lap. Mike Ballard, it looked like, bumping into another car, but we stay green. Ballard in that 101, it looks like, got into the side of another car here, Jordan.
Yeah, that's looking like Scott Ballard got into the side of Dave Hicks here at the start of this race. As now the Spec Miata 2 class is now underway.
SM2 is racing. They're spanning out 3 wide. Brandon Schwartz in that red 46 looks to have the edge 3 wide. They try to go behind him with Matteo Azzeri, Mitch Graybeal, and Jake Malter. Now Graybeal and Malter go side by side as Brandon Schwartz checks out. And our battle for the Spec Miata overall race has Taro Kishida and Connor Willis going back and forth right now.
Yeah, Connor Willis is now sliding himself into second position. We got Billy Benning running in third, Mike Bernardi in fourth, and John Joe DeWayne running in the top 5, now trying to push Bernardi back up to that group of 3.
I got to give a lot of credit to Billy Benning and Mike Bernardi. They've run top 10 a lot this year, but we haven't seen them up towards the podium picture in a lot of the Spec Miata races. Billy Benning finished third. Mike Bernardi ran solidly in the top 5 for most of the first race. And hey, things happen the way they should be. They could see them up there in the podium.
Yeah, Billy Benning's been showing some really good pace lately, in the late coming goings of the season, but especially today, he's gotten really good pace. He was showing great pace up with Connor Willis. Taro Kishida was battling for a podium spot, but let's see if he could be able to get another spot or 2 more in race number 2 here.
Field now looks to be evenly single file. Dust flying up there. One of the cars looks like that may have been Greg Sorg. Hit the grass, but he is able to keep going. We saw a lot of that in the first race with dust flying up after cars going off into the dirt. But the first lap here is completed in our 18-lap shootout. Taro Kishida, who's led every lap so far today, he leads once again. But Connor Willis and Billy Benning all over the back of Willis as they make their way through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, we're starting to see Willis kind of back up the pace a little bit to the back end of front end of Billy Benning and kind of losing touch with Taro Kishida. But, Billy might come to Willis's aid here as he might be able to help him, and both of them push up to the back of Taro Kishida to battle for the lead.
They've definitely put some separation between themselves and 4th and 5th place. Mike Bernardi and John Joe join as of right now, as the field once again making their way towards turns 5 and 6. Taro Kishida again with an evenly paced lead over Connor Willis. Willis encountered issues in the first race. He was running second, closing in on Taro Kishida for the race lead, but not sure if he got off in the course. We didn't see it on the live as John Joe gets around Mike Bernardi. That's a battle for 4th. Jojoin in that number 31 blue and black car who finished second as the field makes their way down the back straightaway.
Really tight, close battle here is now Taro Kishida continues to lead. We got Willis in second, Benning in third, and then, like you mentioned, John Joe DeWayne goes up into the 4th spot, still being tucked up high behind with Mike Bernardi, but we got Billy Benning all over the back end of Connor Willis potentially looking for a spot.
Benning stays tucked behind the back bumper of Willis for now, not able to do anything with him as the field snakes their way through the turns, heading towards the front straightaway. Greg Sorg again going off in the grass there, but he is able to keep his car under control as the field comes around. They will complete lap 2.
Ethan Tyler was starting in the 15th spot. He's already up to the 7th spot here as they complete lap number 2.
Ethan Tyler had a fast car in the first race, but ended up getting spun out in the turn 7 area and couldn't get out of the grass until all the cars went by him. He lost a ton of time as you see the Spec Miata cars going through the front stretch, and towards the background you'll see the SM2 class there as Billy Benning is all over the back of Connor Willis. This is for the 2nd spot right now. I want to talk to you about Connor, Jordan, because Connor started off the year in SM2. He was one of the drivers that was on people's radar, and then he absolutely flourished right now. And he managed to get up to the Spec Miata class in a promotion. His first race, he ran top 5, and now he sits outside pole trying to hunt down Taro Kishida.
Yeah, and Connor's right now, his driving style is displaying the way his act model is and the way he's kind of as a driver. The whole first half of the season, actually before the first race in SM2, the whole first 14 days the track opened, he was on track, I would say probably 12 of those 14 days, just trying to get up to pace and to speed along with the rest of the SM2 guys, so that way he was competitive. And lo and behold, it worked out perfectly for him because he was actually able to win his first race. But we've seen this mentality out of Connor Willis through his whole racing career since he started racing in the go-karts here at the Kart Circuit Autobahn track, and now we start to see him doing the same thing here in the Spec Miata series and on the big track here at Autobahn Country Club. So he's a true example of how much track time can be pivotal here at Autobahn. And if you're able to put all that track time and all the work together, what kind of results it could pose here on the big track, as well as he was able to win the Autobahn Drivers Academy Award winning and test in a Pro Mazda car this year, which he was actually very successful, had a very good test day, was showing great pace with even the races that we have now. So Connor Willis is definitely Autobahn's next young up-and-coming driver that we can't wait to see what he has in store in his future racing career.
Connor Willis right now is laying down some fast laps. The last time by, he was about 16/100ths a second quicker than the race leader, Taro Kishida. So those lap times may be playing off as we have some jockeying for position going on towards the back of the field. This is about the 9th to 10th area. Greg Sorg trying to hold off Tom Bagley, the former Indy 500 starter there. That's a battle for 9th. And behind them, 3 cars looking to get their way in the top 10. That being Mike Ryan, Scott Bowman, and Matt Alexander.
Yeah, this is a pretty good scrap back here for the 8th, 9th, or I should say the 9th, 10th, and 11th positions. As you mentioned, we have Mike Ryan, Scott Ballard, and Matt Alexander, which kind of surprises me that Matt Alexander is kind of biding his time behind all these guys. Not sure if the car is just the way it is, noticing it is a different type of car than what he was doing earlier this morning. So the fact that, this car might be not set up the way it was his other car was. So maybe he's having a little bit more of a difficult time getting around the other competitors in front of him.
Well, Matt Alexander's day started off looking good, but has gone from bad to worse as he is currently mired in the 13th overall spot right now towards the back of the Spec Miata lineup. 16 SM cars, and here we have the SM2s. This is towards the turn 7 area of the racetrack, about to make their way down the back straightaway here. And a lot of these cars still jockeying for position. They're all evenly spaced out amongst each other, it looks like, as we're going to get you caught up here with our SM2 battle. As Brandon Schwartz still continues to lead, Jake Malter has gone around Mitch Graybeal for second as we see the cars going through the back straightaway here. That looks to be the 83 of Mark Stadalski. Looks the outside of Matteo Azzeri, but thought better of it there. A good move of pulling out by Stadalski.
Yeah, and it's really good to see how Matteo has kind of evolved, I should say, this year. This is his very first year racing in the Spec Miata series and racing in cars as well. So to show, pretty good racecraft already, showing a little bit of a defensive line into turn 11 to hold off good old Mark Stadalski, really shows how Matteo has kind of elevated throughout the course of this year.
Mateo's definitely coming on a little bit more now. And you mentioned Ethan Tyler early in the race. Ethan Tyler just ran the quickest lap the last time by with a 1 minute 37.5 as we see some more dust flying up there. But the car is going clean and green as of now. And now some jockeying for position up ahead. Oh, this is a gaggle of cars here. They've been going at it all race long, Jordan.
Yes, that is Mike Ryan, Tom Bagley, Matt Alexander, and I believe Scott Bowman to the end of that battle as well. But it just shows how much these drivers are pushing hard early on in this race as you're seeing 2 tires getting dropped off and dust flying off of the track. That just shows that all these drivers are using all of the racetrack that is being provided here at Autobahn.
Speaking of battles, battle for the lead heating up. Taro Kishida's got 3 hungry drivers right behind him. Connor Willis, he wants to win, and I'll tell you, he wants to win badly right now. He is looking for any way he can around Taro Kishida, the race leader.
Yeah, Connor's looking for some redemption in this race. He was in the second spot at the beginning of the race in race 1 earlier today, but unfortunately had a little bit of an on-track incident that bumped him all the way down to the 4th spot there. So right now he's running in second spot, just hoping to redeem himself and hoping to lead for the first time.
4 cars under a blanket. Taro Kishida with the blue stripe on his hood leads Connor Willis in that failing security silver car. Behind them is Billy Benning in the 77 and John Joe Joyne in the 31 trying to get back in the podium hunt.
Joe DeWayne right now just kind of biding his time, just came off his final race of the MX5 season out at Road Atlanta in the IMSA series. So John Joe DeWayne definitely understanding and knows what these Mazda Miatas are definitely like, has a lot of experience being in the Miatas itself, so trying to use that experience to his advantage here in this 4-car pack.
Well, this 4-car pack could be making up some moves here as they make their way towards this long back straightaway here, heading back behind the garages. Excellent drone shot here. A perfect day in Joliet, Illinois for the Autobahn Country Club Spec Miata doubleheader. As Willis closing in on the back of Kishida right now, all over the back bumper, waiting to see if he makes the move as they go towards the turn, ducks to the inside. And we're going to have to wait and see here in just a second as we have some more jockeying for position between Mitch Graybeal and Jake Malter. That's for the SM2 battle as of right now, going down the back straightaway, trying to catch up to the 46 of Brandon Schwartz just ahead of them.
Malter had a little bit of a slide there at the exit of turn 10. This could be Mitch Graybeal's chance to get past him, but unfortunately doesn't have the big enough drive that he wants to be able to get a good run on the Malter and try to make an attempt to pass him going into 11.
Malter leading over Graybeal right now. Malter finished third behind Gray Beal in the first race as Brandon Schwartz managed to snake his way around for the win. Now they don't have as much traffic to deal with. They've pretty much spaced themselves out from the rest of the SM2 class. And it looks like these three drivers could be competing for the SM2 victories. We have 12 laps to go. We are a third of the way through this 18-lap event in the second race in the Spec Miata doubleheader here. Once again, Brandon Schwartz trying to look for the SM2 sweep. And and Jake Malter and Mitch Graybeal trying to hope for a podium spot here as we still have the battle for the lead. Now a little bit spaced out. Taro Kishida has put a bit of a gap between himself and Connor Willis, but John Joe Joyne has gone around Billy Benning for the third spot.
And all this battling that these top four has done is actually brought the battle even closer to the man we talked about earlier who started in the 15th spot as he enters our frame. That is Ethan Tyler in the 08. Turned the fastest lap of the race last time by, and now has closed the gap from what was 4 seconds on Taro Kishida to now almost 3, maybe even 3.5 seconds as they come back to the line for another lap.
Ethan Tyler ran a 1 minute 37 second .4 that last time by. As these four drivers, they've been all over each other. Connor Willis lost a little bit of ground, but not too much as we see some more dust flying up there. But you got to give props to Ethan Tyler. I mean, he had a fast car in the first race, got spun out there and went all the way back to the end of the line. And now he's up here in the top 5. And should these four tangle together, Ethan Tyler will be in perfect position to try and sneak in for a SM podium.
Yeah, and Ethan Tyler knows he's got a fast car underneath him. He just had the bad circumstances of having to start in the back. But what he's hoping right now is that Connor Willis gets up to the side of Taro Kishida and they start battling each other. So that way he's able to kind of make his way back up. We're starting to now see Billy Benning kind of start to lose ground with the top 3 here. So he might fall into the clutches of Ethan Tyler as this race prolongs.
And behind them, we have that red and black number 8 of Mike Bernardi, and still going on a battle for the lead here. Connor Willis with this excellent Jones shot here, trying to look for any way around the number 60 of Taro Kishida. Connor ran a quick lap that last time, about 0.3 a second quicker than Taro Kishida. Willis with a 1 minute 37 second .518. Taro Kishida with a 1 minute 37 second .841. He's chipping off a little bit of lap times there on Taro Kishida in that number 60 car.
He is definitely, but the thing is that Connor Willis has to keep in mind is that Taro is very consistent with his driving. You know, you're not going to see him make many mistakes at all. So if Connor's going to make something happen, he's going to have to force something to force Taro Kishida into a mistake, or he's going to have to make it himself get a really good run and force a move onto Taro Kishida.
Really quickly, we'd like to thank our sponsors for today's race, Lindblad Construction and First Bank Card Processing. Thank you very much for sponsoring our Spec Miata doubleheader at the Autobahn Country Club. So it looks like this may be a 5-car battle of Ethan Tyler, and that black number 08 car is able to get up there and challenge these 4 drivers for a podium spot. And you're starting to see Billy Benning, who went off there a little bit, lose a bit of ground. And we have some more battles, cars going off in the grass, heading towards the front straightaway. Battle going on there towards the SM2 battle.
That was actually Mike Ryan, Tom Bagley, Matt Alexander, and Scott Bowman all in that mix. You had Scott Bowman going through the grass, trying to make some positions on Scott Bowman and Tom Bagley there. So we'll have to see what was the cause of that. But Matt Alexander just looking like he ran a little bit wide, but was able to make up a couple positions off of it.
Pass in the grass 2.0 right there. We remember those days at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in 1987. Could be replaying itself here at Autobahn. That was a battle for about the 10th to 13th starting spot here. Mike Ryan and that red number 319 leading the group over Matt Alexander, Tom Bagley, and Scott Bowman. Bowman, interesting driver. Father of Sam Bowman in the go-kart series. Sam Bowman currently looking for the championship in the Ignite Junior class. What do you think from seeing them so far?
Sam Bowman has been an outstanding competitor throughout. Oh, Mike Ryan sideways
Mike
there.
Ryan spinning off into the grass, running 10th, and he is going to rest up just against the wall. Mike Ryan running in the 10th spot. Looks like he got off on the curb and lost control of his car. He is able to get it going as we stay green. No caution, but what a heartbreak for Mike Ryan running in the 10th spot.
Yeah, it looks like he just might have gone a little bit wide there. Actually, now that we're seeing him weave back and forth there, he might be trying to just clean off the tires as he gets back going. But looks like he just ran a little bit wide there, had a little bit too much steering input, and it just started getting into a counter steer slide, overcorrected the car, and then as soon as it went into the grass, he was along for the ride from there on out.
Well, with that happening, Matt Alexander in the 159 right there in that black car, leading in the 10th spot now into the top 10. Tom Bagley moving up to 11th, and Scott Bowman feeling the pressure from Art Zeismer here as these cars going through the turns, making their way down the front stretch. But back to what we were talking about. Sam Bowman in the Ignite Junior Kart class, outstanding racer so far. What have you seen from him in the races you've been to?
Yeah, nothing but success from Samuel. He started racing here a couple years back in the rookie series and has been a standout act ever since. Been winning almost every race he's been in out here. Has now met up with a good friend of Gavin Gleitzman, and them two have kind of been battling each other out at the kart track as well throughout the course of the year. This year, I should say. But Samuel himself has now ventured outside the club and started to go to different races. Like this year, he went to the Newcastle Motorsports Park track in Indiana and was doing phenomenal job being fastest in practice throughout the course of the weekend and even finishing second up on the podium in those races, even in the 1 hour Ironman endurance race. So good to see Samuel is now starting to kind of broaden his horizons, leave the outside of the gates of Autobahn and start to be doing well and winning races at different tracks.
Well, we are about halfway through this 18-lap event for our second doubleheader race, and we see Jake Malter in the 69 trying to make a move on Dave Hicks. Malter has made some distance between himself and the 17 of Mitch Graybiel there, trying to go after the 46 of Brandon Schwartz, who has a pack of cars in front of him, trying to hold on to the SM2 podium victory.
Yeah, heavy traffic in front of Brandon Schwartz there as he's trying to do everything he can to get around this pack of cars to keep Jake Malter from behind him. But Malter is right now behind the 25 of Dave Hicks. So if Malter wants a shot at the win here, he's going to need to get hit going and get going quick if he wants to have any time to go catch Brandon Schwartz. Because as soon as Brandon Schwartz gets into this pack of cars here and starts carving his way through, he's going to be gone before you know it.
All behind them, looks like Jim Dvorak in that 39, not giving Mitch Graybiel an easy time getting around him there. We saw that earlier in the first race. Mitch was trying to get around Jim Dvorak. He let Brandon Schwartz get around him with no problem, but pushed Mitch Graybiel up high out of the way and almost got Jake Malter around him as well. And we're starting to see that here as Graybiel still with Dvorak waiting in his wings there, but that had to be a contentious moment. It looks like we have debris heading off the back of Tom Bagley's car, and that number 3, the rear bumper of the car, appears to be loose. On the left rear corner, there is Bagley falling into the clutches of Scott Bowman. Bagley had a good run so far toward in the top 10. And it looks like he may be getting called to the pits here in just a matter of minutes.
Yeah, the bumper's just kind of flapping right now. It doesn't seem like it's really affecting anybody right now, but we'll see if it's able to hang on or if it's just going to be loose throughout the course of this race. But we got a battle for the lead right now between Connor Willis and Taro Kushida.
And John Jojoin waiting right in the wing. Should these two get together here, top 3. And looks like Ethan Tyler moving up in the top 4, getting around the 77 of Billy Benning. So Ethan Tyler, who started 15th, he has picked up 11 spots in just 10 laps, about to be 11. And he sets his sights on the top 3 right now. And I'll tell you what, Jordan, you mentioned it earlier. With the way those 3 cars, Taro, Connor, and John have been running all over each other so far today, you could see Ethan Tyler up there in the mix for a podium spot.
Do not count out Ethan Tyler as he has been the fastest car on the racetrack the past 3 laps times. He's done 2 fastest laps 2 times by, as well as these guys are continuing the battle. That's going to bring Ethan Tyler back in as well. So Ethan Tyler, the man on the move, potentially going for a podium spot here right in front of him, starting from 15th.
Starting from 15th, and he very well could be in the hunt for a victory here as we see Connor looks to the outside of Taro but falls back in line. As Billy Benning has lost touch with this group, pulls up to the back bumper of Taro Kushida as they make their way towards the backstretch. Meanwhile, another battle going on here for 6th, Mike Bernardi and Matt Keck in those red cars going at it, and then Scott Ballard in the green 101 fighting there for position as well as we see the field going through. Heading towards the backstretch here, what could we see? Moves made going down the back straightaway. 3 cars under a blanket and 1 fast car right behind them trying to gain any amount of distance on those cars right there. Taro Kushida currently leading, but Connor Willis, John DeJoin, and even Ethan Tyler are leading the wings.
Now, some may say that, Connor Willis is kind of just biding his time right now, riding behind Taro Kushida. But really, Connor Willis is actually pushing as much as he can out of this car. It just shows how competitive these cars are and how fast these cars are all driving. Because right now, the top 3, I would say, are given all they have, about 8 out of 10 tenths of push and pace here, and they're actually going to be catching up to some lap traffic here in a few laps, so we'll see if that plays a factor in this, how this battle is going to go.
Lap traffic very much so could play a factor here. We've had no cars pulling off. They're closing in on the number 211 of Noel Sachs and eventually the number 07 of Gary Traverso. And look at this gaggle of cars here. One car goes off in the grass. It looks like that was Art Zeismer in the 15, 3 wide, going through the turns there. Somehow they made all that work, it seems. But wow, what a pass.
Yeah, Art coming back on the track there didn't really see the number 25 of Dave Hicks try to go to his outside as they tried to split him going into turn 13, but Malter was able to get through. Hicks kind of had to squeeze his way through, and now Zeismer kind of slots back in behind the 25 of Dave Hicks as one car goes off, and I think that might be the 3 of Tom Bagley.
Tom Bagley had rear bumper issues. He goes off in the grass. He may have affected that tire and the handling of that car. But Tom Bagley, who went from running just outside the top 10, has gone from bad to worse here. As we see this battle in the SM2, Jake Malter still hanging on to second. Mitch Graybeal, that black car right behind Dave Hicks, who is just behind Malter, could see a shakeup here of things in the SM2 battle as they're now evenly spaced. And you see Bagley. Looks like Bagley's handling on that car is being very much so affected by that bumper damage.
Yeah, I think the bumper damage now has progressively started to get a little bit worse. So I would see Bagley, try to just take care of the car for now at this point in time because the bumper damage really is starting to affect the performance of that number 3 Spec Miata.
Indeed it is, as we see Brandon Schwartz still leading the SM2 race over the 159 of Matt Alexander, who is running the Spec Miata class. And his field going down the back straightaway here. This long train of cars making their way down the back straightaway as they head towards the turns here. Schwartz able to keep it over the 159 of Alexander right now. This is battle for 9th and 10th here. And it looks like we had an issue with Billy Benning, who spun off in the turns heading towards the front straightaway. So Billy Benning, who finished 3rd in the first race, was running top 5 all day long, appears to have fallen out of touch with the leaders. As we have 5 laps to go in the second race here in our Spec Miata doubleheader here. We're going to get you caught up with our lineup. Taro Kushida still leading over Connor Willis, John Jojoin, and Ethan Tyler, running the fastest lap of the race the last time by. Ethan Tyler with a 1 minute 37 second point 334 that last time by. He's gaining up on those leaders.
Like I said, Ethan Tyler has been the fastest car on the racetrack now for the past 5 laps and is continuing to just chip away at this lead. Gained about another 3 or 4 tenths on Taro Kushida that last lap by, and is now clearly 2 seconds behind Taro Kushida, but right on the back bumper, coming up to the back bumper of John Joe DeWayne.
Well, Tom Bagley in that number 3 car is still out there racing right now. Bagley with the rear bumper hanging off the car, and it looks like it's getting worse. That may be falling off the car at some point in time.
Yeah, it's dragging right now on the left rear corner panel, I would say. So the bumper is just kind of hanging on for dear life. Don't know if it's really dragging on the racetrack. It was hard to see from the camera angle there, but definitely it made some more damage and is kind of starting to fall off the car.
I thought I saw some smoke coming out the back of that car with the bumper dragging, but we could see Bagley coming in here in just a second. I'll have to give you an update on when that happens, and with it will. So Taro Kushida still leads over Connor Willis and John Jojoy and Ethan Tyler, waiting in the wings for something to happen. And Matt Keck at the number 01, rounding out the top 5. Keck has been quietly running to the top 10 for most of the day, but a lot of events have happened around him that have given him the shot at getting back up towards the front.
Focusing a little bit more on this SM2 battle, Mitch Graybeal is kind of slowly starting to catch back up to the back bumper of Jake Malter, but has the lap car of Dave Hicks in the way. It depends on how nice Dave Hicks is going to be to the young Mitch Graybeal, if he's going to be aggressive against him, or is he going to let him go by? As here's the battle for lead as they go into turn number 7 and into turn 8.
The leaders have caught lap traffic, and Ethan Tyler is starting to catch up to the back of John Jojoin. Here's Taro Kushida. He's got some lap traffic and cars to maneuver around if he wants to hold off Connor Willis. Look at them bunching up here, heading towards the turns as they make their way down the backstretch. This could get ugly.
Well, now and Tyler to the mix as we could potentially be 3 wide going into turn 11 here. Everyone's going to have a run on each other. The 60's got to run. The 99's got to run on the 60, and the 31's got to run on the 99 and the 60.
Here goes Taro. They look all 3 cars look to the inside as they're going to try and make their way through the turns here. John Jojoin looking to the inside of Willis. Now Jojoin looks to the outside. Can't pull off the crossover. And Ethan Tyler all over the back of John Jojoin.
Jojoin's not going to be defensive now. He's got to go from being on the attack of Connor Willis to now being defensive to Ethan Tyler. Tyler now has got to run. We'll look to the inside coming here down the straightaway, but the defensive line is going to go to Jojoin.
3 laps to go in this race here. Taro Kushida looking to hang on as 3 cars are all over him for the lead. Lap traffic pulling off and pulls almost out in front of Connor Willis there. That bought Taro a bit more time there as that lap car got in the way of Connor Willis. But it looks like here goes Ethan Tyler looking the inside of John Joe Joyne, this for third, but Joe Joyne gonna power ahead with the outside momentum.
Yeah, and we come into 3 laps to go. Like we said, Connor Willis is now trying to do everything he can to stay within the tire tracks of Taro Kishida, but Kishida's still got one more lap car they kind of have to deal with as they go through turn number 6 and get ready to go through the backstretch way to turn 7.
Impressive maneuvering of these cars to get through lap traffic. That was about 4 or 5 lap cars that they had to deal with there. It's still not over as we are about 2.5 laps away from the finish. Cars going the outside of this lap car here as Connor Willis looking towards the back of Taro Kishida. He wants to win, and I said it, he wants to win badly here. He's been caught up and had so many tough breaks. He's had great starting qualifying positions, just hasn't been able to put the results together as much as he would like. Now he has a shot to change all of that here today. When will he make his move?
You know, I don't know. It's going to come down to the last lap for sure, but Taro's going to be defensive, so Willis may only have 2 chances to be able to do it if he's not able to pull the trigger here very soon. But you're seeing now Ethan Tyler fall off the back bumper of John Joe Duane, but Joe Duane's catching back up to the back bumper of Connor Willis.
Well, that lap traffic definitely had to play a bit of a factor here as Joe Joyne is closing in on the back of Willis. We could see a 4-car fight to the finish here as we get 2 laps to go in our second race of the doubleheader for the Spec Miata class. Taro Kishida, he's led every lap so far today, trying to pull off the perfect sweep on Connor Willis and John Joe Joyne in the Spec Miata racing here today and pretty much lock up his efforts to win the championship.
Yeah, no matter how this race plays out for Taro Kishida, you got to give props to him as Connor Willis now has a run through turn 4, but you got to give props to Taro Kishida for how well he's been able to show his defensive driving skill under the amounts of pressure that Connor Willis, John Joe Duane, and Ethan Tyler have been putting on him the past couple laps.
Yeah, here we go again. Looks like the 4 cars are trying to get bunched back up to one another here. They're going to make their way down the backstretch. Willis has had a bunch of runs. They're going to get the lap car here, the number 66 of Jean Joe Joyne, heading in there mixed. What will Jean Joe Joyne do? Will he help his brother out and slow up the traffic here? That could play a factor.
It's actually his son there, so there's actually even more to it. So I would say Jean Joe Duane right there could potentially play a factor to Taro Kishida, Connor Willis to help his son, John Joe Duane, get himself a win. But we'll see what happens as they go down the back straightaway into turn 11.
All right, the field snaking their way down the backstretch. They'll get the white flag this next time by. Connor Willis looking to get the victory here and trying to find a way around the number 60 of Taro Kishida here. It looks like they're going to get the lap traffic of Jean Joe Joyne. What will happen here is John Joe Joyne pulls up towards the back of Connor Willis here. We're going to get the white flag waving in the air. White flag in the air. One more lap to go in the Spec Miata doubleheader. What will we see here on this final lap? Willis looking to the inside of Taro Kishida, but stays behind him for the moment.
Willis, I think, really wants to do everything he can in this spot here to try to get the lead away from Taro Kishida, but unfortunately just hasn't had the runs or the opportunity to be able to do that. Yes, he's counting on the back bumper of Taro Kishida a couple of times, but just hasn't had enough momentum or power to be able to pull alongside the number 60 car of Taro Kishida. Kishida now still continues to lead and shows his pleasurable defensive driving on Connor Willis.
Defensive driving indeed. They're going to catch this lap car of the 66 of Jean Joe Joyne probably when they get down the backstretch. Now John Joe Joyne goes into the back bumper of Connor Willis. He sees the family member in front of him and is looking to get an opportunity to sneak around the 2. Now Connor gets loose. John Joe Joyne goes to the inside. Battle for second here. And Connor gets off in the grass. That may have saved Taro Kishida the victory there. As Tara's pulled out ahead, Connor Willis getting off the grass there, and now fighting with John Joe Joyne and Ethan Tyler for the second spot.
John Joe Duane going to go side by side. Ethan Tyler sees opportunity here. He goes to the outside of John Joe Duane, and Connor Willis goes defensive. Ethan Tyler says more opportunity. I'm going to go to the outside of Connor Willis as Jean Joe Duane is holding up the back bump. Kishida.
3 wide potentially, but Connor gets back in front of the 2 for second. What a move by Connor Willis. He's going to hang on to the second spot now, or he will. Taro Kishida is going to come around, and Taro will pull the clean sweep in the Spec Miata doubleheader, and Connor Willis hangs on for second over John Joe Joyne. What a last lap for second, as John was all over the back, as we still have our SM2 battle going on here.
Yeah, absolutely. Great driving by all 3 of those guys right there, able to keep it clean. You know, there was some driving on the grass and all, but, you know, it was really good respectful race in between all three of them as we start to see Brandon Schwartz coming out of the final corner.
Brandon Schwartz going to pull the clean sweep in the SM2 battle. Schwartz in that red 46, he will win the SM2 battle here over the 69 of Jake Malter, who moves to second. And it looks like finishing second in the SM2, third in the SM2 battle will be Mitch Graybeal. Thank you once again for watching our Spec Miata racing here today, sponsored by Lindblad Construction and First Bank Card Processing. This is Matt Lauterbach, joined alongside of Jordan Missig. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
So who belongs in Haggerty Drivers Club?
I've been accused of being a car chaser. I can't deny it. Ferrari, pull up the valuation tool.
Is it so bad that I want to save money on car stuff and then use that money to buy more car stuff?
If you're an unapologetic car chaser,
If you want members only offers on things like racing school, tires, and cool car stocks,
Or if you always take your coffee with cars, then you belong with us. Join the fun. What's up, Wayne?
Hey guys, Brett Harper here with Kart Circuit Autobahn, wanting to invite you out to our Wednesday night summer league. We run two different weight classes. We've got 180 and 210. 180s for small guys like me, 210s for bigger guys. We'll run 3 laps of qualifier, followed by a 15-lap race. Then we do a 17-lap race, and lastly, we'll run that 20-lap race. We add up to 40 pounds of ballast to the go-kart for even racing, so if that sounds like fun to you, check out our website, kartcircuitautobahn.com, for more information. We'd love to race with you. Let's see what you got.
All right, welcome back here to the conclusion of our Spec Miata doubleheader, our Spec Miata top 10. It was an exciting race. Taro Kishida pulling off the doubleheader, winning in a incredible last lap battle there between Connor Willis, John Joe Joyne, and Ethan Tyler. Connor Willis, with his best career finish in Spec Miata, finishes second. John Joe Joyne will finish third. It's his second podium of the day. Ethan Tyler, what a run. He came from 15th starting spot to finish fourth in just a matter of laps, as Jordan had mentioned. Our top 5 is rounded out by the number 01 of Matt Keck. And on to our top 10, we have Mike Bernardi in the number 8, who ran great all day long towards the outside of the top 10 and towards the outside of the top 5, actually, and in the top 10. Bernardi will finish 6th. Scott Ballard in the number 101 with a great run today. He finished 7th. Billy Benning, who finished 3rd in the first race, slipped back to ace, still had a decent run. Greg Sorg, an impressive showing, finished top 10 in both races here. He finishes 9th in the second race. And Matt Alexander, the pole sitter in the first race, who ran outside the top 10 for most of the second race, still manages to get a top 10 finish, finishing 10th in that 159 after encountering transmission issues in the first race on the first lap. So our Spec Miata 2 top 10 will be getting pulled up here in just a second. Brandon Schwartz was the winner. As you see here, Schwartz wins. Jake Malter finishes second. Moving up over Mitch Graybeal, who finished second in the first race. Graybeal finishes third. Mark Stadolski will be fourth, ahead of his brother Steve Stadolski in fifth. Then John Southard, a great run in that number 97 car in the rookie, finishes sixth. Scott Benning Jr. in seventh. Matteo Azzeri, with a great run in the Spec Miata 2 class, finishes eighth. Jean Jojoin, who was around that lead in the last lap battles, the lap car, finishes ninth. And Bruce Malter rounds out the top 10 for our Spec SM2 class. Our podium ceremony will be coming up in just a second here at the Autobahn Country Club for both our doubleheader races. Thank you very much again to everyone out there for watching today's races. This is Matt Lauterbach, and as always, we will see you next time.